I'm Sarah, 40, and I need to get this off my chest because honestly, I don't even recognize the person I was 6 months ago. The woman who tolerated being invisible. The woman who convinced herself that love meant sacrifice. The woman who sat alone at a table for 8 on her 40th birthday while her husband celebrated somewhere else. Let me back up. My husband Mark and I had been married for 15 years. High school sweethearts, married young, built a life together. Or so I thought. Mark worked in sales, traveled constantly, and I handled everything at home. Everything. The house, the bills, our 2 kids, the endless scheduling. I worked full-time as a nurse, pulling 12-hour shifts, then came home to a second shift as mom, wife, maid, and emotional support system. Mark's career always came first. Client dinners, weekend golf trips, late-night conference calls. I told myself it was temporary, that once he made partner, things would slow down, that he'd finally have time for me, for us. Spoiler alert, it never happened. For my 40th birthday, I wanted something simple, just dinner with the people I loved. I booked a table at our favorite Italian restaurant, the one where Mark proposed 16 years ago. I invited his parents, my sister and her husband, and our 2 kids, a table for 8. I sent the invitations 3 weeks in advance. Mark promised he'd be there. He even joked about giving a speech. The day arrived, and I was excited. I bought a new dress, emerald green, something that made me feel beautiful for the first time in months. I did my makeup carefully. I wanted Mark to look at me the way he used to. I wanted to feel seen. At 6:45 p.m., I arrived at the restaurant. The hostess led me to our table. It was perfect. Candles, flowers, a little happy birthday sign they'd put up for me. I sat down and waited. 6:50 p.m., Mark texted, "Running late, babe, client thing, be there soon." 7 p.m., his parents arrived. They hugged me, handed me a card, asked where Mark was. I smiled and said he was on his way. 7:15 p.m., my sister showed up with her husband. Still no Mark. I ordered appetizers to stall. 7:30 p.m., the kids arrived with Mark's mom, who'd picked them up from soccer practice. They asked where Dad was. I said he'd be there any minute. 7:45 p.m., I called Mark. No answer. 8 p.m., I texted, "Mark, where are you? Everyone's waiting." 8:15 p.m., he replied, "So sorry. This is taking longer than I thought. Start without me." I stared at that text for a full minute. Start without me, on my 40th birthday, at the restaurant where he proposed. I looked around the table. His parents looked uncomfortable, my sister looked furious, my kids looked confused, and I felt hollow. We ordered dinner. I sat at the head of the table, forcing smiles, pretending I wasn't dying inside. Every time the door opened, I glanced up, hoping it was him. It never was. By 9 p.m., we were finishing dessert. Mark still hadn't shown up, hadn't called, hadn't sent another text. His mother tried to excuse him. "You know how demanding his job is, honey." My sister wasn't having it. "It's her 40th birthday. He should be here." I paid the bill, Mark didn't even Venmo me his half, and we all left. I drove home alone, still in my emerald green dress, mascara smudged from the tears I'd held back all night. When I walked into our house, it was dark, empty. Mark wasn't home. I sat on the couch and just broke. I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. 15 years of putting him first. 15 years of understanding. 15 years of being second place to his job, his clients, his everything. And he couldn't show up for one dinner? At 11:30 p.m., I heard his car pull into the driveway. I didn't move. He walked in, saw me sitting there in the dark, and had the audacity to look surprised. "Hey, babe, sorry I missed dinner. The client meeting ran way over and—" "Stop." He froze. "Just stop, Mark." "Upset?" I laughed, and it sounded unhinged even to me. I sat at a table for 8, alone, on my 40th birthday. Your parents were there, my sister, our kids, and you, my voice cracked. You couldn't even send a real apology. He sighed like I was being unreasonable. I told you it was a work thing. You know how important this client is. More important than me? Silence. That silence told me everything I needed to know. I stood up, walked past him, went upstairs to our bedroom, and locked the door. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I wasn't sad anymore. I was done. I called a divorce lawyer that afternoon. She was kind, efficient, and didn't ask too many questions when I explained I wanted this handled quickly and quietly. Mark noticed I was distant, but he didn't push. He probably assumed I'd get over it like I always did. 2 weeks later, the papers were ready. I waited for the perfect moment. It came on a Friday night. Mark came home excited, talking about a huge deal he'd just closed. He was in a great mood, laughing, pouring himself a drink, asking if I wanted to order takeout to celebrate. I handed him the envelope. "What's this?" he asked, still smiling. "Open it." He did. I watched his face change as he read. Confusion, shock, panic. "Sarah, what is this?" "Divorce papers." "You're joking." "I'm not." Because I missed one dinner? I almost laughed. One dinner? As if that was the only thing. As if it wasn't 15 years of being invisible. "No, Mark, because you missed our marriage." He tried to argue, tried to apologize, tried to promise he'd change, but I'd heard it all before. I moved out that weekend, stayed with my sister while the lawyers handled everything. Mark tried to calling, texting, showing up at my work, but I was done. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Here's the part that still makes me smile. 2 months after I moved out, Mark's company restructured. He lost his big client, got demoted. All those late nights, missed dinners, broken promises, for nothing. Meanwhile, I got the house, full custody of the kids, and something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. My kids are happier now. They see me smiling again. My sister says I look 10 years younger. And last month, on my 41st birthday, I had dinner with friends who actually showed up. No table for 8, no waiting, no excuses. Just me finally choosing myself. Mark texted me that night, "Happy birthday. I'm sorry for everything." I didn't reply. Some apologies come too late. So, Reddit, was I wrong for divorcing my husband over a missed birthday dinner? Maybe, but honestly, I should have done it years ago.